Hey guys, good morning. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. We'll take a minute. I'm driving to Ranford, look at a church installed up here, so excited about that. But been wanting to do this for a little while. I want to take and tackle some of the questionable teachings in Christianity, like basically get to some of the roots of some of this stuff. I think maybe we get a little further away and we get in the ritual of doing something just because we think we're supposed to, and there's nothing wrong with rituals, that as far as, you hear rituals, you think, it's real mystic and medieval, and everybody's got rituals. You get up in the morning, you stretch, you go to the restroom, you brush teeth. It's a ritual, it's a habit, whatever. And some of those are good. Some rituals are really good, but some can be a little bit dangerous, and some can be misleading a little bit. So I wanted to give some practical steps, some practical thoughts on what some of this is, and really even the power behind it, some of the teaching behind it. So I want to start with tithing, just because I feel like it's an important lesson to kind of get into. So my outlook on it's slightly different than what maybe has been taught previously, but my wife and I haven't done a traditional tithe in, I don't know, 7 years, 8 years, I don't know. It's been a while. Traditional tithing means we just give a standard 10%, bam, 10. You give it on gross, you give it on, whatever, We haven't done that. My understanding on tithing shifted when I really started understanding the redemptive cause of Christ, instead of, looking at salvation. Hey, he snatched me out of hell. All right, I got that. But as I began to look at like the redemptive side of things, it helped me to understand that I'm not my own, if that makes sense. And all the things that I have are not my own. All the stuff that I work for, not my own. Breaking that wall between secular and sacred. Secular, a lot of people think, I work a secular job because it's not the ministry, or I do watching sports is secular, or whatever, But really, if we understand the word correctly, when we've been redeemed into Christ and we become and accept that we are an heir into the kingdom, we no longer are dealing in the secular and the sacred. We're dealing only in the sacred. Once you've accepted who you are, everything you do should be done unto God. Everything. If you're sweeping the floor, you sweep it like it's Jesus' floor. You do everything you can and represent God in the best way that you're able to do. So on the tithe thing, a lot of people use the Malachi verse. Malachi, test me on this, the Lord says, fill up my storehouses, that I'll pour out the blessings on you. Obviously that's my version, but essentially that's not a wrong interpretation. It's not a wrong understanding of it. The first tithe that I can find in the Word, and some of y'all way smarter than me may correct it, and I'm completely cool with that, is when Abram tithed to Melchizedek, which was the high priest of Salem. So a lot of people see, Melchizedek as, as an iteration of Jesus in flesh, and there's some interesting teachings in that. I'm not going to get into that. But basically, in the times that they were instituting the tithe the way that it was mostly food. It was mostly like grains and animals and things like that. They would give their harvest because that's what they used to trade with. The things that they had of value, they would give. And the original tithe went into the temple, went into the storehouse, one, to take care of the people that were learning the law, because they didn't work. They studied the law, they wrote the law, and that was just what they did. And then the other portion went to take care of the needy. If somebody was in, the ones that are mentioned by name, the widows, the orphans, the poor, those are all mentioned by name several times in Scripture that we're supposed to take care of. So the original tithe went to that. We, unfortunately, in the westernized society, have shifted some things in that, and I don't know if we steward tithe money as well as we should in the church anymore. I don't know. I run a media company that makes a living putting in audio, lighting, video systems in churches. That's what I do for a living. Been doing it for a living for many years and enjoy it. But I do struggle with it a lot, honestly, and I have struggled with it for many, many years, because we're using people's tithe money. They're sacrificing, they're giving to build up systems, and sometimes these systems are, why? Why do you need that? and there's the cause of excellence and all that kind of stuff, and we can get into that, whatever. But anyway, my understanding of the tithe is it's an entry level to breaking the bond that money has on people. Just to be honest with you, I think that's where we are today. That's my understanding of it. That's what I teach. That's what I believe, and that's what I live. So the tithe, when you earn money or you earn revenue or you earn whatever, and you give a tenth of that, you're beginning to break the bond that money has on you. So when Jesus said you can't serve God and mammon, you can't serve God and money, essentially, he could have said God and Baal. Baal was the sex god. You go have orgies with that god. Why does he say money? I think it's because Jesus understood the power and the seduction that money has on people. And it's easy to get carried away and it's easy to get caught up in it. But as you look at that, the best way to break the bonds of something that has a hold of you is to begin to push against it. So, greed says, I want all the money, give me all the money. And the inverse of that says, well, I can't have any money, take it all away. I think there's a balance there. So the way I view tithing is it's like it's an entry step into understanding who you truly are. The reason I say that is because tithing no longer becomes an issue when you accept who you are in God. When you become a son or a daughter, if my daddy came to me today and said, hey, my car broke down, can you help me? I wouldn't take a tenth of my income and give it to him and say, hey, here's all you get. Are you serious? No. How much does it cost? Okay, cool. Well, let's figure it out. And I think we have to get like that with God. Is tithing is an entry level, but the truth of the matter is when you can accept that everything you have at any point can be asked of you, and you're okay with that, man, you've hit a pretty solid level of revelation there. If you tithe in a legalistic manner and it just becomes nature, I wonder if there's any true benefit to that. I don't know, maybe. It's like the habit of drinking water. It's a good habit to drink water and you get the medicinal benefits of it. But when you're tithing and all you do is tithe and you just give kind of robotically, kind of systematically, but you don't really know why, you don't really do it with a cheerful heart, you just kind of do it. I've interviewed with churches before that wanted to hire me that would take the tithe out of your paycheck. I thought that was the stupidest thing ever, period. How are you going to force tithing and call it a blessing? Essentially you're paying me 10% less. I don't understand it. People that do that, maybe I'll get it. I don't. It has nothing to do with that I don't want to give or don't want to sow or I'm not generous. It has nothing to do with any of those things. That I don't believe God's going to take care of everything. I can tell you in the last 24 hours, Buddy Trey, we're working on opening up a discipleship house to help bring men to recovery and redeem them and help them find who they are. Well, we needed some flooring. We bought some flooring, it didn't work, whatever. So we ended up taking that flooring back. We thought we was going to have to come up another $500 or $600 to get some better quality stuff. Ended up taking it back. Ended up getting back $300. Why? I have no freaking idea. Because the numbers didn't work out on paper. I promise you. I'm a math nerd. I looked it up. We talked about it. We already knew. So I've seen God provide in just amazing and miraculous ways. But I guess what I'm getting at is let's not look at tithing as a legalistic thing that we have to do or we're not going to be blessed by God or not be honored by God. Because some people will try and scare you with those verses and it can be a little, scary. It's like, oh, wow, if I'm robbing from God. Oh, my God, I don't want to rob from God. Maybe. And the verse says it. The verse says, how are you going to rob from God? I'm wondering if that's the correct interpretation or not. I don't know. If you can't afford your bills, you may want to reconsider tithing. You may want to give of your time. You may want to give of another resource and take care of the things that God's called you to take care of. You have a family, and I've heard it both ways, man. I've heard people say, we didn't have a dime and I tithed my last money and we got a huge check. And then I've seen it go the other way. It's like, man, I keep tithing, but we just can't get ahead. We're behind. We're falling behind. And I'm tithing. And I've seen it go both ways. So I don't know. That's something God needs to minister to you about. But if I'm looking at it on my end, once you accept that anything that you have can be required of you at any point in time, and you're okay with that, tithing is no longer a problem. Because if there's a need, the need just gets met. Again, if Daddy come to me and said, I need something for this, I'm not going to limit that to 10%. That's my daddy. He'll take care of it. You know what I mean? And if I went to him, he wouldn't say, well, I only made $2,000 last week. I'll give you $200 and that's all I can do. He wouldn't do that. He would come to me and say, hey, how much is the need? If we don't have enough, let's go ask some more people, see if they got whatever he had. He would sacrificially give in order to see that I had what I needed. And I would sacrificially give to see what my kids needed. And I would sacrificially give and have given to see what other people need, you know. So anyway, all that being said, on a practical note, let's try and get away from the legalistic thing of if you're not doing it, then you've somehow not loved as much by God. You somehow don't trust God as much. I think we can get away from some of that a little bit and realize that it doesn't hold us to the point of saying, hey, God loves me more because I give 10%. Or I love God more because I give 10%. I think we got to break that just a little bit and say it's a wonderful step to begin to break the bond that money has on us and help us to really understand our inheritance of who we are and who we're called to be and the great things that God's gotten for us. But at any point in time, if there's $1,000 in the bank and the Lord speaks to me to give $1,000, I need to give $1,000. As crazy as that is. If there's 10,000, I need to give 5,000. I need to give that 5,000 because the Lord's asked me to do it and I feel in my heart to do it. Let's not get manipulated and twisted into sowing your seed faith offering into ministries that missteward your money, and let's stay away from that, guys. Let's be mindful of those kinds of things and use your use your wisdom and discernment to test the spirits and see what's real and what's not. I'm not saying those things aren't real. Again, I've heard amazing testimonies from it, and I don't know that it has anything to do with where you sown the seed as much as the fact that it was sown. So, but anyway, love you guys. Hope you have a good day. Excited about today. Pray we get this little install up here. And excited about that. Some really cool stuff on the horizon, man. Just really, really thankful, humble that we got some good opportunities coming up to serve God. Get to know Him a little bit better. I'd encourage you to pray today. Take some time to get to know the Lord today. Let Him get to know you and rest with Him some. If music's that way to do it, sit, listen to some music, pray. And if walking in the cool of the day is, do that. Whatever it is, find some time with the Lord today, even if it's 5 minutes. Anything will help you. I promise you. Any little bit will make a difference. So let's not get caught up in thinking we gotta pray like Daniel for hours and hours a day. If you can do that, by all means do it. I've not made it to that point yet, but I definitely enjoy giving some time to the Lord and enjoy spending it with Him, I believe. So anyway, love you guys. Hope you have a good day. Go ahead and kill this and get on the road again.